Oh.
Lokesh.
College, o que é me too, da luz, casca e yogi, no, yo,
Nutcracker, man.
Agi ktabi ichadia ya bino, hey yo, ya hey
Big time. Big time.
hey ya hey 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 Fort Beck Community College, o que é yo, me too, gashi, dagush, kashka, yogi, piano, yo, wata, pebi, hagi, ktabi, ichachi, ya, bino, hey, yo, hey ha ya hey ha ya hey ya hey ha yo hey yo hey yo hey ha ya hey ya yo hey ya hey ha yo hey yo hey yo hey ha ya hey ha hey ha ya hey ha ya hey ha ya hey ha hey hey Fort Beck Community College, o que é yo, me too, gashi, dagush, kashka, yogi, piano, yo, wata, pebi, hagi, ktabi, ichachi, ya, bino, hey, yo, hey, yo. Hey ha ya hey ha ya hey ya hey ha yo hey yo hey yo hey ha ya hey ya yo hey ya hey ha yo hey yo hey yo hey ha ya hey ha hey ha ya hey ha ya hey ha ya hey ha hey yo Fort Peck Community College, o que é yo, me too, gashi, dagush, kashka, yogi, piano, yo, wata, pebi, hagi, ktabi, ichachi, ya, bino, hey.
Oh, Jaxi. Oh, toki minha upi.
Oh, Astelo.
Pero, tayo achia kape. Hello, relatives. Again, thank you for joining us. Buffalo Chasers podcast. Live from Fort Peck Community College. We got Earl Bullhead in the house, Mr. Tommy Christian. So I know it's going to be a good one. Man, Nina Dina Lila Usni Gyabdo.
Oh.
Yasha. Broka Heun Chapi. Broka Heun Chapi. Oh, Dokashni. Relatives, before we get started on our podcast here, ask for a prayer from actually Earl, if you could help us out here and start us off in a good way.
Oh, mitakepi. Now, better walk hanchake when you need me. Woke up this morning, give a big thank you for our maker because holy moly, our furnace isn't working correctly, so I'll even pray for my furnace tonight. Leo Betty Otiela Huakabna. Manake Waniotu. O Snina Takuka, which Jawakapi and I wish Chinopia. We ask the Great Spirit to watch over those people who are having a hard time with the weather and getting around. Onakuhe Nakut Hukashila. Tuake Hena Ija Wazakach Papi Hena Vuchik at Hanach Unhena Piaye. So we pray and ask the Great Spirit to look over our sick. Hena Kujich Papi Hena Vuchik at Hagina. Ila Nishap Jaunt Hukashla He. Ukiksi Ale Vuchik Unkaga. Onakut Hukashila Tuake Hena Nachti. Takuki Ha Gnunipki Hena. Yotel na hena Okeske he Skamki hena wana Ari o Yuspe Skamki hena Uchiket Hagena Hona hena okay. Tunkashila wa Kantrakale Taku hit Hokab he Uki he Wana Unkija Nihicha as you had Wochika Chichi Chahena Hona Ukoki Apie. You asked us to guide us through this time of various challenges and obstacles come our way through our sicknesses, through these viruses that we're coming to our children. And we ask that you hear their prayers and guide them and help them get through so that we have a better life for each other and so that we may stay united and strong. Because Shicha Wank up Chahe Unlila Wachini up Chahetan Honam Koki up here. So Uchikel Git Hape Chalila Wachini up Chahe Ushekchi Uchikel Kaga. So we ask for dear blessings to help us in staying strong through our nation. Akukahe Yihunigila Sutana Shichao Maunkapi. We're seeing things in the day-to-day doings of our nation, divisions that are happening. So Naku Tuake Hena Okanana. Kushina Uchio Kikhapina, Lexi Wakanja Natua, Tiwaho Kikhabe, Ija Hewochik at Hago Techike. So I took Ashila, Akea Betu Wakayako, Hewo Pilat Hakahecha. After to Hihuniki Uki Henako, to Wake Hena, Chuita Mishtiktel Uchnikene, Awangela Kabna Hena Ushek Chilta. So we ask you to help and assist those that are suffering, who are out there, no place to go. Please hear their prayers. At Hukashila, Manake Levochika, Mashagana, Yotila, Ukagap Chahe O, Elila Wopila, Yuhab Sahet Hukashila, Ushim Kapia, Kashila Ushim Kapia, Ho, Mitake Oase.
Oh,
Oh, Mitaku Asi. Wamakashka Owasi.
Oh, beautiful prayer again. Thank you for that, sharing that with us. So, relatives, for those of you that hang in there with us every week, we try to show some love. We have a few things that we try to give away. We got some brand new Parka Buffalo Chasers jackets since it's so cold, man. I want to hook you guys up. We got
Parkers. Oh, hey.
yeah. And
First one in line, and that Tommy.
yeah. And so that jacket, so those
Guy Naji.
that give us a like, a share, a comment, smash that button on last week's podcast on our Facebook live stream. If you did that, you got your name in the hat. So there's two individuals that we want to recognize. The first one won a jacket, that Parka Buffalo Chasers jacket, and their name is Aileen. Excuse me if I got your name wrong. Aileen, Aileen, Little Ghost. Winner.
Kashupa dinner.
Congratulations, Miss Little Ghost. And we also have a Kindle Fire tablet up for grabs, and the winner of that is Aubrey Scott. Aubrey Scott, winner, chicken.
Kashupa dinner.
Redeem those prizes over here at Student Services, the War Eagle Vision building. Just stop on over if it's a little too OSNE for you out there and you just want to stay at home in the campfire, or if you live outside of that service area, just give us a call, 406-768-6370. Give us your name and your mailing address and we'll hook you up. So again, that's how you're able to get your name in the drawing for this weekly drawing for these prizes that we got. This is how we show a little bit of Wopida, a Wopina.
Show us the jacket, Toshka.
It's buried over here, and I got some more coming from that lady over in Culbertson. Dars, yeah, Dars. So she's got to put that embroidery on there, and then she's gonna hook us up. So don't worry, they're on their way, man. I'll be rocking one as soon as they're here, but definitely we'll mail those out to you. They should be here any day now. So yeah, that's how you get your name in the hat. Just follow us on the social media on our Facebook live stream, and we'll hook you up. So with that, I don't know what type of content we have for today, but it's always mental health, right? It's always good stories in this uplifting way of life that these two gentlemen live here, and they're always sharing all their prayers and all their powwow experience. And so I always have a good time. I appreciate you guys joining us again, and hopefully everybody can get something good out of this. So what do you think, Dex?
Hey, Toshka, dai chanu, chante wa shite you ha. Hey. Keeping us alive again on the technical aspects of what it is that we need to do in this virtual experience as a result of COVID, understanding the importance of gatherings like this, the Zoom, 48 North Dakota, again, as we do these things, we understand the importance of our abilities today in a contemporary way of kind of communicating and sharing and keeping our mindset. They always say great minds think alike, and I think you got two great minds in Toshka and Chie. But me, I have to keep myself away from that because, boy, I'd hurt myself if I had a great mind. But we want to keep that mental capacity going. We like to, especially on days like today, it's man, lila osni tangza hecha. Oh, geez. Again, winter is here. It's really, really cold outside. So again, we can really appreciate this opportunity to come together in our Zoom and helping us understand the importance of that thing, and not to sound redundant or repetitive as it relates to the sharing that we do. We got to also understand the basis and the foundation and where this thought process comes from, in which we share with you. It's under natural law. Natural law helps us understand the more natural things as it relates to instincts and our ability to develop our character from the inside out and strengthen ourselves as it relates to the teachings. We know chala, we chak chala, won't speak ya hemita. I always try to share that my these older people that I keep dear to my heart, those are my teachers. And again, this is a learned behavior as a result of becoming a little bit more culturally responsive in a more contemporary time. You know, a lot of times my niece was sharing with me the other day, my niece Diane, she said, you know, a lot of times, uncle, it's as a result of cultural ineptness. And that's true. That's very true. And once we get over ourselves and start understanding the importance of ikjewi chasha, that common person attitude, that common people attitude, that's what we're wishing to share in a good way for the sake of including ourselves. That key word is inclusiveness, and our ability to help us understand we are all a part of that changleshka. Again, that circle of life, that's what we call that changleshka, is a circle of life and including everything and everybody. Mitake owasi, wamakashka owasi. And again, we're all related in the human sense, but also in that wamakashka owasi, we're all related to all of those things that we understand is spiritual. Everything has a spirit as it relates to how we get along in this world, and we're trying to include ourselves in that natural way. So a lot of times in a more fast-paced world, they forget about the common things that we think about and we dwell on at various times to maintain our mentality in a strong balance, a strong sense of balance. And we wish to understand the importance of those that were here before us, those that came before us, and we always recognize those individuals that may have suffered and sacrificed for whatever reason, how they ever done that, and through different things that may have or may not have been done to them. But we wish to evolve from a lot of the atrocities, a lot of the oppression, and realize we're in this together. And again, we cannot divide ourselves. I don't know if any of you heard the president's speech this morning, and they're over there and they're dividing themselves, and hopefully this will bring us back together. But that's a political position they're taking, a personal position they're taking. We choose, and the key word is choose. We choose to remain apolitical and apersonal because we're not wishing to convince anybody of anything. We're not wishing to say this is right and that's wrong. We're wishing to recognize the importance of critical thought. And in that's for our young people to recognize their ability to be intuitive in the manner in which they choose to walk this red road or this road of understanding. And in that, based on their own personal choices, they're part of that circle, and they need to be strong enough and have enough character development to be able to share with the rest of us that are a part of that changleshka, so that we can understand fully what that center consists of. Chokata ekta hiopo mitakepi nicho pe unshiake nitakepi wachinia fellow. You know, and again, as we do these things, we're going to invite you into the center, and we're going to help you to understand the importance of how your relatives are depending on you, just based on your sharing of that, as you afford yourself the right of your own integrity as you see that center. And as we do these things based on honorable and respectful actions, we can share in a good way and the right of our own integrity, and be representative of not only ourselves, but of our family, our tribe, our communities. And in that sense, we can realize how we can understand the diversity and the uniqueness of our natural law process should be an enhancement and enrichment for the sake of the growth of our children. My relatives, and again, as we do these things, oh man, give me a hallelujah. Brother man's preaching here. Oh man, I'm going to start passing the hat here. I don't know what the heck I'm going to do, but as we do these things, this is the importance of that, maintaining that mental health strength within ourselves. We depend on each other to do that. It's hard to be a human, but I love my human ways. Think of it like that. Even though as we do these things, we understand that there is diversity there. Don't be afraid to represent in an ethnocentric way how that diversity is amongst us. But at the same time, understand the uniqueness based on our language, our ceremony, or the manner in which we believe is important for our young people to grow. It's important for them to be strong. It's important for them to carry on a legacy that they represent that has been participated in by many, many people before us. We're not the first ones to do this, but we're not going to be the last. And we hope that, and we pray for that. As you heard the prayers with Chekia, Chem Tad, Wopilai Chichiapalo, Naha, Wachekia, Washtelo, Chante Washte Yuha. So as we do this, we understand the importance of the way and the manner in which my older brother here shared on behalf of all of us to the Creator some of the needs that we have today. So in that, as we do these things, we always wake up in the morning with a prayer. We end our day with a prayer. And in that way, it's not so much the prayer in the way our non-Indian relatives think about it, but it's a wachekia, a heartfelt cry for the sake of others. That's how we define wachekia. So with that, I just wanted to make sure that we're all fully understanding that we've been doing this for about a year, and I can't believe it, Toshka. What the heck's going on here? Where does time go? When you're having a good time, time flies by. But we want to make sure that everybody is understanding that we're not here to convince anybody. We're here to share. And it's understanding to develop your character, not to be afraid to share as well. And again, we're going to definitely make an attempt to try to, and we're going to get a female involved to get that female perspective, because in Lakota Dakota way, we are a matriarchal society. And that's one of the confusions that have been presented by literature or history or whatever. That's theirs. Ours is understanding, and we never forced it on anybody, and we wouldn't. But we're going to get that female involved, Toshka, and we're going to find one that's going to help us to participate in these weekly gatherings. And I think it's important because, again, that mental strength is needed, especially from that female perspective. But we give you the basis, the foundation of some of that thought process, some of that way we do things. It's different, but yet it's not wrong. And I think we get a lot of that guidance and direction from the folks you see here that actually live that. But we also need that female perspective. And I think we're going to accomplish that here shortly in the next couple of weeks or so. We just got to identify one that has the time that can do this on a consistent basis, and one that is knowledgeable of our cultural value system and all that good stuff. So that'll help us address that. So we haven't just running over and doing it just for the sake of doing it, but we wanted to make sure we were established. We had a foundation in which we can evolve from. And I think we've developed that. And again, we can continue to go on based on everybody's participation out there from the audience. I don't know what the audience is thinking or saying, but I know that my nephew keeps track of all those things and all those comments, and he brings them up periodically when they need to be addressed. But I just wanted to share that much, Chia. I know that you got some things you wanted to share at the same time, and we got some things that we're going to go do here. I don't know how close in the future, but we need to initiate that drum and get those sticks up here and that dandy bag you guys made down there, and get that up here, and or maybe even take it down there, however it works out, Chia. It'd be fine by us. But I know you had some things that you wanted to share as well. So again, Chia, what do you think about that, Chia?
Well, the two things that came to mind, one was, throughout our matrilineal practices, sometimes it's hard for a male to accept that.
Yeah. And
so when you define it, when somebody's clashing personality-wise, they say ichipa. They're, so to speak, they're bumping heads, And so for many years, for me, that was a struggle.
Yeah.
Growing up in an environment where we were raised to be very outgoing, very, how would you say it? Manly sort of behavior. Don't you cry, you're a man. Tough it out, you're a cowboy. That kind of attitude,
Yeah.
So when you're raised in that environment, it's instilled for so many years, and then you meet somebody and you have a hard time expressing those feelings or understandings. And so oftentimes it leads into a lot of frustration.
Yeah.
But it's more deep-seated than that, because there's so many other things that influence, like being sexually abused.
Yeah.
And having to deal with that on your back, and the times that, you actually stick it underneath the table and hide it and don't want nobody to talk about it. You hear about it, you walk away from it,
Yeah.
make no comments. You're having interior emotions that are, you don't know what to do with. So oftentimes it leads to bumping heads, chipha. And so coming to understand that terminology and start thinking about it, in my lifetime, what I've done is that, all right, let me try not saying nothing at all. Let me think about what's told to me. And so I can get away from this ichipha, I don't want to bump heads with nobody. I don't want to argue with nobody, especially your spouse, your loved ones. And so the process began. And so as I started realizing, I said, it's an ability to be able to express yourself in a manner in which that's appropriate to the culture. And so being raised by a woman that was pretty much, how would you say it? How would you say it? She's been in the service, she's in Women's Army Corps. She's been very politically active and fight for the Black Hills. She's raised a lot of kids, taught a lot of things about, food, cooking, canning and tanning and all these kind of things, and language learning. And so I came to that realization that somewhere along the line, that something that was instilled in my mind was, you do not speak until you're spoken to. I had to give that a lot of thought, because what I see now is, as the years have progressed, I see now that we as men, when it comes to our language, we need to step forward and say the words that are encouraging. Words like, Ochichinkte, I'm going to help you.
Oh,
Yeah, Ochichayanicha, do you need my help?
Yeah.
We don't say those things to our younger people anymore. It's more like how come you don't know this? Don't they teach you this anymore? Does anybody work with you at home? How come you don't know this?
Yeah.
So I'm taking the initiative to try and encourage people that speak the language to start addressing and using a lot more of these kinds of encouragement to the younger kids. Just be careful. It's going to happen. It'll come. The speech, and keep practicing. We need to express ourselves in that manner so these kids get that self-confidence.
Yeah.
And one of the drawbacks was that I remember is when you're learning to say words like
Yeah.
And it's tricky, so you don't pronounce it correctly, That's they kind of giggle and laugh. But being ingrained with that, when people laugh at you, like you get this feeling they're making fun of you. They're laughing at you. But I come to realize that it wasn't the laughter that they're criticizing me with. It was the happiness, the joy of hearing a young person try to learn his language.
Yeah.
And so we got to utilize that effort and take a step forward and say, and reflect on those words,
Yeah.
I'll help you.
Yeah. I'll help
And
you.
I'll pray for you.
I'll pray for you.
No.
Yeah.
I always remember this guy saw that I had a whole bunch of tobacco in my car because, I don't smoke. So at that time, and so I had cartons of cigarettes in my dash and then also in the back. I pull into the powwow and this old guy come up and he said, he said, Charlie, I said, he said, what's your Mac? I said, I said, she said, I'll give you a lot. I'm going to ask you something. He said, he said, I'll give you some smokes. He looked at me for a long time like that, and then he walked off. He walked off. He didn't pray, he just walked off.
Great. Yeah.
I'll never forget that.
Yeah.
And so we still have people that are still, how would you say it, are so ingrained in their minds that there's something wrong with praying.
Yeah.
I was like that. I remember this guy looking at me one time, and I knew darn well he was going to ask me to pray. So, you know, I ran over the hill to pretend I was taking a leak, until I heard somebody else praying, and then I went back to the powwow. You know, so that ingrained behavior, we have to take a step forward and start putting it in perspective. We need to encourage our young people in ways, especially through the language. You know, I can help you, you know, and I'm experiencing it. It's really unique. It's really neat to be able to say to kids, it's just, Takuya Nichai, what do you need? And so it's not Takuya Chihe, Takuya Nichai, what do you
Oh,
need?
What do you need?
Not something you want. Yeah. I said, let you know how to, you know, Ochichi, if you do this, I'll help you.
Oh,
And then he look at you and I said, well, can you pull that chair up for me? I said, Lala, I can't sit down without get some help. So they come over and help you. And when the class is over, they come over and say, you need help, Lala? I said, no, so we need to get in that frame of mind now, you know? And we got to get away from the word Nina Oshikena, you know? I don't know, you know, to me that entices somebody that's very helpless and pitiful. You know, we're not that way.
so pitiful.
No.
I'm really pitiful.
You know, I said, Nina Oshikena, you know, it turns me off because it should be things like, you're going to be dependent on some, you know?
Oh,
So I think that that basis for that word that it came out was that we have been influenced by so many other cultures that we adapt phrases to fit them, you know? Like, Ihana washite.
Oh.
Ihana is in the morning.
Yeah.
Not AM, but the next day morning.
yeah.
You know, so the next morning is good when you're trying to make reference to right now.
Yeah.
It should be ampetu gde hiana.
I'm bet to
Washite.
get, you know, watch that. Yeah.
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 Today is a good day.
O hiana lelo nashi hiana ki he devo nashi be washitedo, you know. The morning we're standing here right now is good.
Yeah.
Instead of saying hiana washite.
That's
Tomorrow's
It's
good.
tomorrow. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
That
but
kind of confused
they
me.
Came up with it. Now they put that together someplace in the past, you know, so every time you go someplace, and it's usually always, how would you say it? Mashichus.
Oh,
Oh, Mr. Bullet, here I was there. I said, yeah, tomorrow's gonna be good. Yeah. I
yeah.
said, "Ashlepetu washte." So
Oh.
we as who want to have the understandings, we need to take that step forward and start utilizing it. So, you know, reaching this age and coming to those realities, you know, you stand there and try to kick yourself, but you can't kick yourself because your leg's too short. You know, and to remind ourselves, we need to exercise and
Oh.
be a little more reinforcing to those kids. Yeah.
You know, I
And
was
then
trying to
Donik Chai.
explain. Yeah, I was trying to explain that one time to some people. Ihana washte. I said, we never used to say that because
No.
that means tomorrow. But I said, I couldn't explain it to them. And they said, well, what do you used to say? I said, ampetu washte yuha. And that's
Yeah.
how we just have a good day. You have a good day, eh? But they
Yeah.
they couldn't grasp that thought process because that was shared with me that we never used to say good morning. I don't know why,
No,
but
you look for those little subtleties when you
Yeah,
talk
yeah.
to somebody.
yeah.
Like one of my aunties says, "Wana waya to tell niktai." I said, "Wapatin."
Ah.
She looked at me. She kind of smiled and looked away. And I says, "Oh, what did I say
Wapeton.
wrong here? You know, what did I?"
Well, après
Yeah, it's supposed to be wachpetron, wachpetron. You know, and like sistine is supposed to be citron.
citron. C'est
You know?
citron.
And tron is a birth, a beginning, an origin.
Yeah.
You know? And so I all thought that was kind of amusing once I figured it out. no wonder she kind of giggled a little bit because I'm raised speaking Lakota, but didn't understand that it's supposed to be respeto.
Yeah.
You know, so there's a little subtleties that we need to readdress and say, okay, let's take a step forward. It says, I said, this is what I've learned. I said, let me teach you.
Well,
So
brother
those the
man,
words.
brother man, like the way you teach, remember how Albert used to teach and all that, and he shared that with us. He helped us to understand,
Yeah.
but nobody believed him then. Hey, remember that?
Yeah.
They would all
Yeah.
argue with you. They had you over here in the school system, a diamond in the rough, and they didn't know what you were doing because they couldn't grasp it. And that's what we're trying to overcome, like especially with this virtual experience we're going through now. Now we can reach a lot of people. And so like when Albert wrote that book, who knew what resources, because they weren't acknowledged as educators or doctors or something like that, but he was introducing people that were legitimate resources as it relates to the language. And because they were Indians, they wouldn't acknowledge them. But Albert knew, and so he stood by that, and he kept going to, this is what I got from the grassroots people, and this is where I'm going to go with this. And they couldn't get that. And that's the same way you do too, Chia. You try to help them understand the importance, like what you're saying today. We should be encouraging with our words, eh? Not making, but like these old ladies, and I tried to talk a Assiniboine over in Lodgepole. They say, Tommy, say this, and I'd say whatever it is, and they'd laugh at me. They wouldn't laugh at me, they'd laugh with me, because again, I was trying. And they say, this is how we say it over here, but you're saying it like you're from down below, like from here, Poplar, like I'm a Assiniboine from over here. And they would just laugh and enjoy and all that good stuff. And then one time, these two old ladies, Minerva and a couple other old ladies, were sitting there, and they said, Tommy, what you and Donovan doing today? And I told them, I said, we put up 9 teepees. And they looked around and, there's only one teepee up. We put that up 9 different times. I said the same teepee. But that was kind of, and they just liked that. They just laughed. But that's where we too need to really develop an opportunity or an avenue to let our young people feel comfortable. And coming to an arena like this, we tease so much. Maybe like me, I know I do. I tease way too much. I shouldn't tease so much, but be a little bit more understanding of the sensitivity that our young people are carrying, because they've been in a school system that really uses criticism as a way of controlling them, not how we utilize it in a way to helping them address some of the issues that they're saying. We shouldn't be shaming people, hurting their feelings or stuff like that. But we'd like to bring attention in an indirect way to some of the things that they're doing. It's not telling them directly, but we just kind of tease them like it. But I think we need to be aware of that as well, and just direct because of the sensitivity of our children. Is that what you're trying to say, Chia? Is that where you're going?
Yeah, like for instance, sometimes small little words come into play. Like the other day, they wanted the kids to go one by one and walk slowly.
Yeah.
And I expressed myself. I says, "Oh yeah, omane beke one jig money, And they looked at me. One jig? They said, "What does that mean?" I said, "One by one."
Oh, yeah.
So walking one by one.
Jig. Yeah.
If there's 2 of you, it would be nupa.
Nupa. Yeah. Jig.
2 by 2. Yeah.
Good one. Yeah.
Then 3 would be yamyamani.
Yamyamani. Oh, 3 by 3.
Dob would be dopa.
Yeah.
Zapzapa. Shakpekpe. Shakokoi.
Oh.
Why don't we call some of our kids that instead of shakoi? It's to say shakokoi. Make up our own word with the usage of that. Shakokoi. Hey, shakokoi, number 7. We had a family here in Yates that had the same amount of kids on a pool table. So when they talked, you didn't understand who they were talking about, Where'd two ball go? He went down to post office, number 6. Where's 8 ball? I don't know. Him and cue ball took off.
Yeah. Well, they knew what they were talking about anyway.
Exactly. So we can pinpoint that. And, you know, I was evaluated today, and I took it to stride. I said, technically, I said, I got to get a little more advanced with my machine.
Yeah.
My board. I got to learn how to utilize that board because it is really, really unique to have that available in the classroom. It's touch screen.
Yeah.
Colors, you name it, designs. It's a unique thing. I put my cluster form up there and just knock it out and kids go through it. You know, so but when I say stepping forward, I think that somewhere along the line, even my own family, I don't do it enough. So that's my resolution again. Another one is to try to utilize that as best I can. You know?
Your
So-
New Year's resolution or what?
Yeah, so the first one I'd say is, Amayusta, leave me alone, you know, I'm sleeping my kwalo, you know.
Yeah. Me, one of my resolutions is I'm gonna quit my procrastinating, eh? But I'm gonna wait till tomorrow to do that. Not that
That's a
corny,
good
eh?
one. Yeah, that's a good one. I know,
That
it's
corny,
heavy,
yeah.
man. I just went
No,
over
but
somebody's head there.
Yeah, it kind of, I don't know if you guys got that or not, but, but you know, that's,
Procrastinating, yeah.
But
That's
that's the thing
instilling
that
us
we-
because,
go ahead, Chia.
that's instilling us because the marriage of two of our
Yeah.
entities, creation story, they're related,
Yeah.
but they married anyway. So that's personified in our personalities that,
Yeah.
you know, that we can become ectomies. We're naturally born being an ectomy. Just find the kind of balance, you know.
Yeah,
It took me a long time to understand that, but I understand it now. I heard a grandma say, Ma, he onyx to ecto, he onyx. Awangla kapo. Akukuk ay chuktit. He's going to do things that are,
different, yeah,
you know, they're going to be hard to explain. Sure enough, you know.
Yeah. different.
Doesn't know how to dance, so he's out there dancing backwards, and, you know, things like that. So hearing words and analyzing them, can't beat that. I really enjoy doing that. What I don't like is looking at report cards. Eesh, man. So in our efforts to try to be better teachers, it took a while for us to see it and come to
Yeah.
that understanding how we have to reinforce. It's like, "Washteo chuko," we're doing a good thing here. You
Yeah.
know? Wauyankame washteste. It's good that people are seeing us in a good way.
Yeah.
And then, like, for instance, Dayawa Chianke, Shto.
Oh.
All right, that's one of our themes or things that are in our classroom. It's in our office. But the Shto, you know, is a feminine term.
Mhm.
So when people come to see it, you know, they read it and they say, Shto, you know, who put that up there, you know, things like that.
Yeah.
So you have to really be careful how you translate some of these words and explain what is the male's way of saying it, you know. Dayaya hiado,
Oh,
or Dayaya hipido, you know, or Dayaya hipelo, you know. But what's funny is that when you get into plurality, one of these kids said, Waushkate pipi. They all start giggling.
right, the same
Yeah.
way you say that, they get
You put a little
embarrassed.
space in there, so don't be saying pee-pee right at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah. that's
So you
good.
learn to be careful.
Mm.
But anyway, so right now, I gotta wear
Oh,
gloves in my
yeah.
house,
Yeah.
you know? Something's wrong with our furnace.
Oh,
When it
man.
gets
Turn your
steamy,
oven on. Turn
we
your
got
oven
that on too.
okay?
That's
Yeah,
already on.
Put
They've been
that
making
fan
bread,
out there. Put that fan in
cookies,
there.
they've been-
Blow that warm air on.
baking and cooking everything they can find just to help keep it warm in here.
Yeah.
And so I said, well, how about if I get a propane here? The facilities management said, nope. You can die from the exhaust.
Yeah.
I said, "Gee, I remember people cooking with propane stoves for many, many years." I said, "They didn't die."
In the house, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. What?
Pump them up.
That's
They
what
never used to
happened.
pump them up and then start them.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I remember that too. They got warm.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, so we're just hoping that the weather settles down a little bit, but it's gonna last for a while.
Yeah.
Coming and going, but oh, shucks, things will work out. How we doing? My throat's
Oh, we
giving
got
out.
about 5 more minutes.
Ah. So next discussion is that I'm packaging all that stuff, so I don't know how much is that you want to. I don't know if you've seen the photograph. Tommy said he sent you pictures.
Shakpe
Majig.
Onpawiche.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Shakpe onpawiche. Kiabdo Toshka. That'd be Marstello.
Does that mean all the sticks or just so many?
All of them.
Wasina.
Everything you saw in there. Everything you saw in there.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, no problem. All right, I'll box them up and send them. I learned a word from Jerome, my kodad and my kola. I said, I've often wondered that because I remember seeing it. They take a stick and they wrap it up in the middle and they'll throw that big piece of stick over dead branches. And then they pull on it. And so the cha is wood and then you, all right? Something crumbles, but something hits and crumbles. Like if
Yeah.
you get a bumper hit and you know, or
Yeah.
a can, squeeze it, you. So cha, you is that process of throwing that stick up on the branches and pulling the dead branches off for firewood and cooking.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cha you
Cha, you. Yeah. So when somebody names you, that means your elbows are all ready to peel off.
You're
so
all
don't wash
crushed up there. Bija. Oh.
Okay, you know the one was
Bija, you
laughing.
are.
Okay.
Hey, Bija,
Oscar's, kind of figure Oscar's bewildered, man. Where are these guys going here?
I don't know.
Getting carried away now. What do you think, Toshka? What you got going over there?
Oh man.
Some of the nicknames too.
Yeah. Well, I guess not much. I was just thinking about your guys's discussion on language. I always like hearing language stuff, so that was really cho. I really appreciated that. You know, there's another speaker I worked with, and he was kind of sharing a similar idea, and maybe I'll share it with a few people. Is what he was saying was when he sees people learning, because he teaches some people too. Like, he said he tries not to like look at them when they're struggling through words, as like the washichu getting in the way. What he would say is he looks at them with as the Dakota within that person is slowly starting to
Evolve. Yeah.
stand up. And so he wants to encourage that individual like a little child almost, you know.
Yeah.
So I thought that was kind of a cool way of encouraging people. I mean, in a loving way, instead of like.
Oh,
Well, let me tell you my experience with that as a teaching at the college university level at University of North Dakota. I had a student that was a minister's son, and he spoke about 7 different languages.
yeah.
So he took Lakota because he was interested in and he was really intelligent. I mean, when it comes to language learning.
Yeah.
And so he came to class, good student, and he asked special permission if he could share his project, his final project for his grade semester ending. So I said, that'd be nice. I said, it's nice of you to volunteer. I said, yeah, you can go first. I said, but be sure and remember the things we brought up in here, how to do the things in proper etiquette. And so I'll remember, Mr. Bullet. Yeah. So he came and he brought his hand drum and hand stick, you know. So he got up, introduced himself properly, did the right thing. Wochi Kakage put tobacco on his drum. He said he's going to share a song. So everybody paid attention, and the majority of them were Native Americans, Belcourt, Red Lake, Standing Rock, Fort Berthold, Sisseton, a lot of students. He hit that drum, so they're all watching him. This guy's amazing, man, in my mind. He said, Kohler Dukele. He said, what? Kohler Dukele. It was your car, he cheese our pay. You can see everybody biting their lips.
Was that the same guy that was saying winking? Must be the same guy. Remember that?
Yeah. Turn cars, cars.
He had a southern drawl. So I don't know where. Everybody shook his hand. He went around, shook everybody's hand. He said goodbye, never saw him again. But he looked out the window, he got in his car, said, this is really happening.
Yeah.
Thanks for being respectful, but man, that was a tough one to get through.
At least he's trying. He's trying.
Oh yeah. Kilik though. I mean, geez, there
No,
know that many languages. Give it the old Lakota tribe, but gosh, he had that drawl,
Yeah. But Toshka, I think we really need to find a woman to kind of come into our podcast and help us out. So
Here's what I think.
Mhm.
It's I've been trying the past year. There's not a lot of WIAs that are available during this time slot.
Yeah.
So
Time.
lately it hasn't been sought out as much, but we might be doing some individual guest speaker series like we did last year.
Okay.
Find some WIAs, and then I'll invite you guys if you can make it. If you can, great. If not, I'll just try and give them a platform, because I think more than anything, I think our podcast is good, even just with the way we got it, but if we can find some to join us, great. But I'll try and etch out a time during the week to where we can get some WIAs from locally or throughout Indian country, just to share that.
That'll work.
Yeah. Get it out there. And I think that's what, at least that way, I'm interpreting some of the comments and some of the direct messages that I get from people that kind of follow us.
Yeah.
They're loving the podcast. Man, you guys just bring it. But they really want to see some of those WIAs too. So maybe I don't know what you guys think of that, but maybe that'll be something we'll shoot for.
Yeah. But Toshka, I've been watching that show Yellowstone. I'm trying to get that thing where look like Rip. I want to look like Rip.
Rip. Oh, I've still never. I heard that the hoopla about Yellowstone, but I still never watched it.
It's a good one.
Next week I'll be prepared. I'm gonna watch some Yellowstone.
Yeah. That's all I got. Mama, finish that.
All right. Oha.
Stop, Che.
Jokesta.
Oh.
Angla Kapoor.
Oh.
Hey ha ya, hey ha ya, hey ha ya, hey yo, hey yo, hey ha ya, hey